if you don't have that goal in mind, it's really tough to figure out what exercises you should be doing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Better Basics Podcast, your number one stop for real fitness advice. We are here this week after the 4th of July to have a conversation with you about exercise programming. But before we do that, Dylan, let's intro the hot topic. It's an article that you brought to my attention about the workout craze that is sweeping the nation.
Yeah, so I came across this morning. The article headline is "The Unique Exercise This Neuroscientist Does for Optimal Brain Health." Physical activity is so powerful for our brain. And we've talked about this before, and we know this to be true, right? Like, exercise is fantastic for, what we traditionally associate the benefits of exercise being with regards to our heart health, our weight, our physique, etc. But there's a ton of research and evidence to show that it's really fantastic for the health of our brains, for our mental well-being, etc. And so this article is getting into some of that, talks about a 2022 study looking at health information of more than 500,000 people, finding that exercise decreased the risk of developing dementia by 35%, which is super cool, right? But there's a very specific exercise that this neuroscientist is recommending, and it's funny.
Yeah, to say the least. I also think she started it too. I think she founded it. It's called Intensati. Inten capital SATI. This is directly from the article. The front half of the name Inten stems from the word intention, and sati is a Pali word that means mindfulness or awareness. So right there, you already have something awesome because you've got a catchy name with meaning. So we've got that taken care of. But what is Intensati? Well, it involves moving your body while speaking affirmations out loud. And it was created by Patricia Moreno in 2002. And so I went onto YouTube and I found the Intensati YouTube channel. And what I can tell is it's basically like yoga, Pilates type moves, but you're just shouting out positive affirmations about yourself all day long. And they tend to be. It looks like most of the videos are between like 10 to 20 minutes, so you can tell. Oh, and it's all women in the workout videos, so you can tell that they have a very specific target audience here. And I'm not here to say that Intensity is bad, but like, come on, guys. It seems like we are doing everything that we can to stray away from the plot that just like doing regular exercise is good and simpler is better.
Yeah, man, it's there's also tons of benefits to like affirmations, right? We know that to be true.
Totally.
But putting these things together seems a little silly. If it works for you, great. If you want to give it a shot and it feels good, great. I'm gonna stick to my morning journal and my traditional exercise. It does
Yeah.
talk about it talks about one of the affirmation studies from a Berkeley study where they looked at a handful. It wasn't a lot of participants. I think 100 some plus students, and had them speak nicely to themselves for 20 seconds a day. And after 1 month of doing the practice, the students reported feeling less stressed, seeing improvements in their mental health. So affirmations can work. We know how good exercise is, but packaging it together just kind of feels like another silly trend in
It
the
seems like you're just going
fitness
to
game.
do both of them poorly.
Yeah.
Focus on your workout and focus on your affirmations. It feels like all we're trying to do all day long. And this is, kind of what I was saying with their target audience is everybody feels like they only have 20 minutes a day. It's like, oh, the only open time in my day is 20 minutes. And I would challenge anybody that says that. And I know that there are people where they that might be the case, but for the majority of people, 95% of people, we have more time in our day than we admit. And it's a problem with how we structure our days, how we time block our days, and how we prioritize things throughout our day that make us feel like we don't have as much time. So instead of trying to jam your positive affirmations and your workout into one 10 to 20-minute period, let's look at how we're actually spending our time throughout the day. Let's look at our screen time. Look at our mindless scrolling time. Look at the time where, because we were inefficient with certain things, that we have to rush from place to place. I mean, I just think that there are more practical ways to look at these items instead of just trying to, brand them all into one thing and then sell you a course on it.
Yeah, the exercise itself isn't going to be the most effective form of exercise.
Right.
It's yeah, you're doing 2 things at once halfway. So I'm totally with you. What you could do is, strength train, maybe take, like, a good 2 to 3-minute break in between sets and then just kinda stare at yourself in the mirror and just let
We're
yourself have it.
we're
"You are
onto
a
something.
strong motherfucker. You are you are
Yeah.
a
Oh,
sexy,
you're
sexy
so
man."
bad. I like that. We might have to write that into the next workout program.
Oh,
All
shit.
right. Well, speaking of workout programs, let's get to our main topic of the day, and that is we wanted to talk about the benefits of using a real strength training program. And because you see it a lot of times where people go into the gym and they end up doing the routine that they learned from their high school gym coach, and they've just been doing that over and over again, same weight, same reps and sets, or they're just doing random smatterings of exercises that they saw on TikTok. And while I shouldn't say all, the majority of exercise is going to be better than no exercise at all. So they're doing something right there. But if you're going to take the time to train, then it's worth it to do something with some structure. And we're going to go over some of the major highlights as to why.
Yeah, so and I think another title we kinda spitballed for this episode is "Why Random Workouts Aren't Effective."
Hmm.
Um, and I guess I'd preface the whole conversation kinda to your point by saying they can be, but exercising is good, training is better, right? So, I was a person for a long time who would just go to the gym and grab whatever weight was open and lift until I was tired or, go hit the track, but there was no real structure to it. And so in doing that, it was healthy, right? Like it's health. Anything you can do to move your body is healthier than not moving it at all. And so
Right.
if that's what works for you and you don't have a specific goal or aspiration around health, whether it's longevity or building muscle or losing weight or whatever it is, then that's fine. You can go and continue to do that.
Yeah, like
But
if you're only doing it for the mental benefits, if
sure.
it's just to burn a few calories and blow some stress off, then have at it. But you know, I, I do think I think there are some common pitfalls that you run into when you train randomly. And the first is, because I mean, like you said, so if you're gonna go in, to the gym and you're like, oh well, I'm gonna hit some bench today. And then, you don't go for a couple days and you go in there, oh well, I'm gonna hit some bench today. And then, you go in again and, "Oh, I'm gonna hit some bench today," because you know the bench and you like the bench. You like the way it makes you feel, but that leads to a potential for overtraining those muscles that you're hitting every day. And I promise you that you're leaving some muscles undertrained as a consequence. So that when I think about pitfall number one, that is the first thing that I think about.
Yeah, and you see these people all the time, right? Like they're built as all hell from the waist up, and because lower body strength training typically sucks, they got real tiny little chicken legs. It's super
Yeah,
common. I would do this, right? Like, you're gonna go if you don't have a program, you're gonna go to the gym and you're gonna do what you like to do. So
exactly.
I think to your point, the advantage of having a program to overcome that pitfall is it's gonna stretch you, it's gonna challenge you, it's going to be well-rounded to ensure that you're hitting all of the important muscle groups. There's a risk of injury that comes with that, to your point, right? Like, if you're top heavy, your lower body's gonna suffer. A good program is gonna take you through different movement patterns, different exercises, so that you're not just training in a singular plane. You're gonna have some rotational stuff in there. So, I agree. It's a major pitfall.
Yeah, and then I think about what on the other side of that. So what a good program does is not only is it going to make sure that you're consistently hitting the body parts, like all the body parts enough times throughout the week, but it's also going to make sure that over the course of time, there's going to be some form of progression. What you see a lot in with people in the gym is they go in there and they're like, well, I do 30-pound shoulder presses. And they've always done 30-pound shoulder presses. And they will never do anything but 30-pound shoulder presses for 3 sets of, 8 to 10 reps. But what is going to happen and what happens there is that your body adapts and you stop making progress. So what a good workout program is going to do is take you through various rep ranges. And the most popular ones, that I tend to see are more of that 4 to 8, which is kind of more of like a maximal strength. So lower reps, heavier weight. Then you have like your 6 to 10 or 8 to 12, which is a little bit more hypertrophy focused, which is where you're getting those sharpened muscles, really building muscle. And then you have your 10 to 15 or plus, which is more of that muscular endurance. But if you're going to the gym and you are consistently doing the same amount of weight for the same amount of reps and you're wondering why you're not seeing any progress, I think we found our answer.
Yeah, and it's gonna take some of the guesswork out of that progress too, right?
Right.
Because not only should you be programmed effectively, but you should be logging and tracking your workouts effectively so that every time you go to the gym, you know, this is what I did last time and this is what I can do this time to progress. If your aim is to build muscle in the interest of looking better or losing weight or whatever it is, at a certain point, and this isn't universally true, but I think it's safe to say broadly that you have to be progressively overloading in the gym. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can do it with tempo, you can do it with weight, you can do it with reps. Um, but that's critically important to progression. And so if you're just showing up at the gym, pitfall two really is you're just not going to be progressing effectively because
Hmm.
you're not going to have that log. You're not going to have that effective programming to ensure that you are progressively overloading over time, that you're challenging yourself safely and effectively.
Yeah. And you actually made me think of something else, which is if you have a specific goal in mind. Well, okay. I guess the better point would be you should have a goal when you go to the gym. It doesn't necessarily need to be I'm going to add 10 pounds of muscle or I'm going to burn 10 pounds of fat. It could just be I want to feel my best. But having a goal is going to allow you to find a workout program that works for you. If you want to, you know, if you want to just develop mobility and strength in end ranges of motion or single leg stuff, then you don't need to be doing like Olympic power or like powerlifting type stuff. But if you don't have that goal in mind, it's really tough to figure out what exercises you should be doing and why. And that gets really, really challenging. So I think having a goal is super important because then it allows you to find a program that works for you. And from there, it just makes the whole gym experience so much easier.
Yeah, I think that's a huge pitfall. Pitfall three is certainly like just the exercise you're doing is misaligned with what you're actually after, like the goal itself. The program you find and use should be in alignment with that goal. whether it is better mobility or building muscle or better sports performance or hitting the golf ball further or whatever it is. Um,
Yeah,
there's
if you wanna
different ways
build a huge ass,
to build a huge ass. Yeah,
like,
big old booty.
there's a program for that.
There it is, man. And working with a trainer can be really helpful with that as well because it can be really nuanced and tailored to your goals. But I fell into this pitfall for a long time, right? I wanted to build muscle, but nobody ever taught me that in order to do that, you needed to have a program that was aligned with your goal. So I'd go to the gym, and to the first point we made, I would just lift weights, right? And just go again and lift weights. And over time, that'll work when you're really new. You'll start to see some progress, but eventually you're going to plateau and fall deep into this third pitfall. So that's a critically important one. And I think it kind of blends to another pitfall with just showing up and exercising, which is that you're never really building a good habit, right? So you show up, you exercise, you do the exercise, um, and then it's just up to you to find the motivation again to go back to the gym to do some more exercise. Whereas if you have a program, that program is just a habit on a platter, right? Like
Right.
it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You can figure out how to make that work into your week and your lifestyle. And then after you do, phase one, workout one, phase two, workout two or phase one, workout two is right there ready for you. And Wednesday's the day I'm going to go do workout two. And it's going to repeat itself week over week over week. And you're going to plug in your numbers and your progress. And after a couple of weeks, it's just going to become a habit. It's going to become something that you do. It's going to become a part of your lifestyle. And you're not going to have to find that motivation to just say, I'm going to go to the gym because it's just going to be Wednesday. And on Wednesdays when you're supposed to do workout too. So you're going to go do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so that's very like James Clear Atomic Habits stuff, where
Yeah.
the more decisions that you have to put into doing stuff, the more fatiguing it is, and the less likely you're actually to follow through or make something sustainable. So, if you are struggling with motivation to go to the gym, the program can be the best motivation. I mean, I know anytime that I start a new program, I'm always kind of giddy. Like
Yeah.
that first week on the new program, you're trying out some new stuff. You're doing things that are a little bit novel compared to what you've been doing. It's always a really it's easier to be motivated when all you have to do is show up to the gym, and whether it's you got your notebook or the programs on your phone or whatever it is, but it becomes so much easier to actually follow through. I love that point so much. I mean, the program really just is your roadmap,
Hmm.
and you need but it's a hell of a lot easier to get from point A to point B with that map, as opposed to just looking around and being like, oh, I think I'll take a left here. I mean, it's really a huge benefit there. I love that.
You bet. Yeah. And I mean, it can still be flexible programming, right? Like
Oh, sure.
here's what I'm going to do this week. Maybe Wednesday comes. It's just a super long work day. You didn't get good sleep. Today doesn't really
Hmm.
feel like the day to do that workout, but there's tomorrow, right? There's Thursday, and I got to get my, 2 to 4 workouts in this week. Want to give myself some rest in between. It doesn't have to be super rigid,
Hmm.
um, but really effective, super helpful for me. I'm with you. Like I love starting a new program. I love getting into the flow of it. And then I love the feeling of accomplishment of getting through each week, knowing that I met what I set out to do at the beginning of that week.
Yeah, for sure. And then along with that, I think just the time management aspect of having a program is huge too. If you are going into the gym and you already know, all right, so first thing that I'm going to do today is barbell back squat, then I'm going to transition into some pull ups, and then I'm going to do bench press. And even if you go in there and then somebody's on the squat rack, and so then you just have to modify. Okay, well, I'll come back to that, so I'll move down here. It makes things so much quicker. Whereas if you are walking onto the gym floor and you have no freaking clue what you're going to do, or your favorite bench is taken, and you're like, well, now what? I mean, it just makes the use of your time. And if you are one of these people that makes the argument, well, I don't have time to spend in the gym. If you have if you have a plan, you do, you can get in, get out. And to your point earlier, you know, the program can look like a lot of things. I know the what I'm currently doing for my program is something that in the past I've done, doing upper lower split. And right now, just because I don't want to be spending more than an hour in the gym. My upper day, I'm breaking into two because it keeps my workouts to under an hour, which works for me right now. Now, when things change in my schedule and I'm able to put a little bit more time in there, yeah, maybe I'll go back to it and then drop a day of training in the week. But the point is that you can adapt the program to fit your lifestyle. It doesn't have to be this really rigid thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and, there's kind of like a spectrum of different ways that you can leverage programs and programming, to your point. So you can go online, you can buy something off the shelf, you can buy basic muscle, you can run it exactly as it's written. You can go and take that and you can modify it a bit, at the risk of maybe, not getting maximal benefit out of it, but still, effective programming. You can work with a trainer and tell them very specifically, here's what my lifestyle looks like. Here's what I want to achieve. Write me a program to help me do that in a way that's going to work best for me. And I think, you're just starting out, try something off the shelf. You work better with some support, find a good trainer. Um, but the program itself, I think, is the most important component of making exercise as effective as possible and making it something that you can stick to and actually do over the long term. I said on a previous podcast, if somebody asked me what's the number one thing I can do for my health, I'm going to spend a little bit of money. What is it? It would absolutely be to just buy a fitness program that's aligned with your goals, because it's something you have, it's something you can reuse, it's typically not that expensive, and the results and the benefits that you'll get out of having that, many of which we just discussed, are really pretty priceless.
Yeah. Now, it's worth discussing, so now we're opening the box of the world of workout programs. So you can go online and you can find every fitness influencer selling their workout program. So now how do you kind of like parse through the all of them and figure out what's best for you? I think one thing that's really important is how simple it is to access and use the program. Because you have all these fancy apps out there now, and I've tried a bunch of them, and you and I both, when we were writing basic muscle and basic home, that was the biggest value that we felt like we could add, was just making something simple. You can either use it on your phone, you can print it out, you can use it on a tablet, whatever, but it's something that is really easy to have. But I think even more important, especially if you're new to exercise in general, or some of these moves are not second nature to you yet, having in-depth workout videos, instructional videos on how to do the exercises is incredibly important, so that that you're doing things correctly.
Yeah, I think the associated pitfall here is people choose a program that's written by an influencer or a marketer or
It
somebody
just
that doesn't
looks good.
really understand fitness programming. And if I think there's this misconception that in order for a workout to be effective, it has to suck.
Right.
And
That's
so a
such a good
lot of
point.
times these influencers, these people that are really smart around business, they write the program because of how important word of mouth marketing it is, so that when you're done with it, you feel like you got your ass kicked, so that the thing you're going to do then is go tell your friend, "Oh my god, I'm running this fitness program and it's just awesome. Like, it kicked my ass and it really sucked." And that's not a good indicator of an effective workout at all. In fact,
No.
if it sucks the first time or two, maybe it's working. If it still sucks, 2, 3, 4 weeks in, you're way overtraining, and you're not going to see great results from that either. And that's another pitfall, right? Like, not having a program, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but it's really easy to just go to the gym, do a whole bunch of shit, um, and just totally overtrain, like to the point where you aren't giving really your body a chance to recover. And good workout programming isn't just about what you're doing in the gym. It's about the time in between and the importance of that rest to build muscle, because you're not building muscle while you're at the gym. You're building muscle while you're recovering from the workout that you did. So a good workout program is going to give you sort of like the minimum effective dose to stimulate that response, so that when you're sleeping and when you're taking that next day off, you're building as much muscle as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's huge too, right? Like the overdoing it, you see it all the time, and that is, something that we could have ragged on a number of times, and we will continue to rag on. But things like that 75 hard, where what is it again, Dylan? It's 75 days of twice a day of working out twice a day.
For 45
Like
minutes. Yeah.
that doesn't make sense. It's
No.
just, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, you need to give yourself time to recover, and any program or trainer worth their salt is going to make sure that there is plenty of rest built into that for sure. Um, you know, we've done a pretty good job of hitting the pitfalls, talking about the major points. Um, the I guess the last thing that comes to my mind is just the lack of, how disheartening it can be when you go into the gym and you're not seeing progress. And so you're like, I'm in the gym every day, or I'm in the gym 4 days a week, and I'm just not seeing, I'm not seeing the results, or everybody around me is progressing at a much faster rate. And if you feel like you're in that category, if you're spending the time in the gym but you're not seeing the results, then I would venture to guess that a part of it is the programming, what you're doing when you're there. And so I guess, this just kind of goes hand in hand with, summarizing everything that we've said, to help with whatever your specific goal is, to keep you motivated, to keep you on track, make sure everything's balanced. A workout program is going to do that. So, is there anything else that you feel like we got to go over on this topic?
I would just say relatedly, um, it takes time for the weight to fall off, and it takes time for the muscle to show up. And so a good program is going to give you what you need to be as objective as possible about progress. And the most objective metric you can look at is strength. If you are getting stronger, and again, this is through logging your workouts, tracking that progressive overload, you are building muscle that will show up eventually. And by building that muscle, the weight will eventually start to fall off. And so instead of, you know, being frustrated and trying to guess your way through why you aren't seeing the progress that you want to see, because there can be a million reasons for that. We've talked about some of the downfalls, pitfalls of the scale itself. We've talked about a number of how it can be difficult to be objective with the way that we look in the mirror. Follow a program, log your progress, and you have an objective thing to look at to say, I am improving. And then that's going to help you get through that, 4 week lull where it's not showing up. And so you just get frustrated and quit. You can stick to it. You can give it the full 12 weeks or for however long it's written for. And you can look at it and say, here's where I was week 1 on my bench press. Here's where I am week 12. Holy shit, I am getting a ton stronger. And that's a really good feeling, and something that'll help you then progress your way into the next program and the next program. And again, make it something that's sustainable and a part of who you are and your life. So yeah, in summary, I think if if you have a fitness related goal, call Matt. he'll he'll talk you through it and help you decide, what is the right program for me. Do I require a trainer? Is there something that I can purchase off the shelf? Find something that's aligned with your goals and give it a full cycle. Give it 12 weeks or however long it's written
Yeah.
for, and be really objective with yourself and saying, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better, and that's a really good thing.
Well, and if somebody is looking for a program, if they don't have a laser focused goal yet, great places to start are the two programs that we have out there right now. So Basic Home is perfect because one, it's free, and then two, you can do that from the home, you can do it from the gym. It's something that really is a quality program that's going to help you, get into the swing of things and build some muscle with minimal equipment. But then, basic muscle, we spend so much time writing that program and making sure that it was dialed in exactly how we would have wanted it. It's something that I still use with my clients regularly. It's something that I recommend to everybody if they're looking for something to do when they get back in the gym. It's I no matter male, female, we wrote it for both. It's I promise you, ladies, it's not going to get you bulky. Guys, it's going to keep you balanced. Basic Muscle is such a good program, and it comes with those. How long did it take us to record those videos? A full day, pretty
Yeah, at
much.
least. Yeah.
It took us a while. So all the exercises we have workout videos to go along with it to make sure that you're doing it yourself. So highly recommend if you are looking for a workout program, you can find those over at thebasictrainer.com. Now, Dylan, let's switch on over to the question of the day. I have one for you. I just need to. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this question is in regards to group training versus one-on-one. So uh, this listener was just asking what our thoughts were on group training versus solo training, and if we had a preference one way or the other.
Really good question, and I think it depends on how the group training is structured. So
Mm,
I think typically, one-on-one training is gonna be far more effective, right? You're probably gonna be doing strength training, you're gonna have that voice, that mentor to work you through it, to support the way that you're doing the movement, to support you with your goal, to help, that's sort of like the crux of all of this. If you can afford it, if you can swing it, there's nothing better than and it's got to be a good trainer, but a good trainer to support you, to mentor you, to help you through what your aim is, I think is the best of the best. Now, group classes can be a shit show, right? Like this could be everything from your hit class station to station, where they advertise it as strength training, but it's really just cardio, going to kind of kick your butt and make you feel like you did something super effective on the way out. Um, I've seen some really well programmed group classes. There's a couple of them at a gym here in Milwaukee that I used to go to that I think were fantastic. They were strength focused. They they were structured throughout the week so that every time you showed up and tried to progressive overload, it was sort of just strength training in a group environment. And I think that can be really effective. It adds the community element, and it can be really good. But again, that came with like a specific number of sets and reps, very strategically programmed exercises, an ambition for progressive overload, rest periods in between your movements. Um, so there's sort of a spectrum to all this, which it's nuanced, right? Which is typically the case with all things fitness and exercise.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say one-on-one training is the best you can do more cost effectively. There's probably some good group class opportunities out there, but the majority of group classes are typically pretty shit.
Yeah, group classes tend to be hit because it's easier for the person in charge to run.
Mhm.
And so you just, that's what you need to be getting yourself, preparing yourself for. And if you like the social aspect of it, I totally understand that. It's something that you can do with friends. A lot of trainers will allow for small group personal training, whether that's,
Mhm.
2-on-1, or some people even do like 3-on-1. So if you have, a couple friends that you are interested in like doing those things with, you could find a trainer who is going to work with you guys together. The thing that I think is an issue with most group classes, beside, I think you brought up all the points that I wanted to bring up. The other thing is just, and going back to our main topic of the day, is the programming. those group programming classes can be a little more random. They are certainly not tailored for the individual. It's very general and just trying to make you feel, make you feel something. So, I really do feel like one on one is better. Um, and so, but there's nothing wrong with group. It's just it again, it just depends on your goals.
Yeah, there's a spectrum to like effectiveness and all this too, right? Like again, what is your goal? If you're trying to be as effective as possible, that one-on-one environment is going to be better than having 3 people there, is gonna be better than having 15 people there. But that doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that it's not effective at all, right? It can still offer some benefit. Again, whatever's gonna get you to show up to the gym and is something that you're gonna do repeatedly is what's going to be most effective. And if going to a group class is what's going to do that, and your ambition and all of it is just to be healthier and move a little more, then that's great. Um,
Right.
so that I think that's the piece that you have to keep in mind when deciding what's right for you.
Mhm.
I've got a question for you.
Okay, I'm
Um,
ready.
so we're doing 2 this week. This question is, what should I eat and what should I eat before and after I work out?
What should I eat before and after I work out?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so a lot of it is personal preference, but here with training a lot of different people, what seems to work best for most people is just a little bit of carbs before. So if you are a morning workout person, having a little bit of fruit is perfect. I think, I know personally, I don't like working out after having eaten too much. So if I'm going to work out first thing in the morning, I'm going to grab an apple and a banana, and if I'm really hungry, maybe I'll have an egg. But I find that most people tend to operate best on a little bit of carbs right before their workout. Now, after is all about the refueling. So, I mean, first off, we got to take care of hydration. So, it's water, it's electrolytes, and usually I know that we both have the same workout cocktail where we've got our water with our electrolytes and then some creatine mixed in there too. But if you are somebody that doesn't like to drink a lot of water while they're working out, then after that becomes super crucial. And you want to prioritize protein, but that doesn't mean that you should be neglecting the the rest of the plate too. I mean, I wouldn't just I'm not a huge fan of the whole chug a protein shake right after a workout. I think enough research has been done that shows the whole like protein window after you work out, unless you are a professional athlete, is bullshit. And it's just more important about hitting your protein target throughout the day. So yeah, but you can't overlook those, the carbs and certainly the micronutrients that come from the fruits and veggies that you might be eating after. So before you work out, little bit of carbs, some fruit I think is ideal. And then afterwards is, yeah, when it would be, prioritize that protein, but just make sure that you're getting the balance. Oh, and if you like gummy bears, or if you like candy, um during your workout is an epic time to have it, because then you can just turn that immediately into energy. So that's a sweet little hack if you are a sour candy nut like me.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Pre-workout, it's typically a simple carb. I like a Rice Krispie treat, like something where the glucose is readily available for energy,
Right.
not a slower digesting carb like rice or potatoes. That's good a couple hours before your workout, but maybe a little tough on the tummy. I'm with you. I'm not having a big meal, within a 2-hour window of when I'm planning on working out. Post workout, the slower digesting carbs are more important because your muscles require glycogen to recover. So that's when you'll want to go to stuff like the rice, the pasta, the potatoes for those carbohydrates that are going to help you recover and be prepared to work out again. So yeah, I think you nailed it.
Hell yeah. All right, let's transition to the I Lift to sad song of the week to bring it home. Dylan, it is your song.
Yeah, this one came on the other day from an old playlist that I like to work out to. And it's a jam. This is a good one if you're like deadlifting. It is Pyro by the Kings of Leon
Nice.
from 2010.
Yeah. Kings of Leon was hot for a minute there. They put out some
Hot.
bangers.
They did, and this is one
I
of them.
like it. This is one of them. All right. Thank you, everybody. We love you so much, and we'll see you next time.